Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Quincy Kane here, and this is live stream number 35? No, I think we're beyond 35. Is it really 75? Or, oh my gosh, let me check. I can't believe I said 35. I was like, I was thinking 75, but I was also thinking, no, there's no way. Man, that's a lot of streams, man. Oh, 1 second. Starting things off nicely, yeah. 75, wow, yeah, we've been at this for a little while, huh? Man, it's crazy how fast things go by. So, 75 and still technical issues, isn't that great? Yep, well, whatever. Anyway, this is live stream number 75, and we're going to be checking out some new Linkin Park songs. Now, when I say new, Linkin Park is actually celebrating their 20th anniversary for their CD, the Meteora album that they put out 20 years ago. And they have some unreleased tracks and some B-sides and things like that that they're releasing with that anniversary edition. And some of the tracks are pretty great. You know, it's kind of crazy to think like it's like the tracks that they didn't release were like, you know, still really good. It's like, man, these tracks are banging, and you didn't release them with your album originally. You know, I don't know why that was. I mean, I know for the song, they put out one song called Lost, and there was some comparison to that kind of being sort of an epic, kind of like Numb, you know, or sort of a big anthem kind of piece, sort of like that. And so I guess for the whole of the album, you know, they didn't want two songs like that, but you'd think they'd still release it as a single or like a bonus originally at the time. But either way, it was a really special gift because you know, Linkin Park, very talented band. But of course, you know, a few years ago, we lost Chester Bennington, and you know, maybe we'll dig into that some, but it was just I don't know, it's heartbreaking, man. And that song, when they released Lost, it was a really special gift. It was really, I don't know, just, you know, we weren't expecting to hear his voice again, and so to sort of hear a new song, you know, it might have been years ago, but a song that we'd never heard before, was just a really special thing. And so I don't know, just some pretty amazing stuff. So kind of looking forward to digging into some of that. If you're familiar with Linkin Park, you know, let me know what you think of them, what you think of their music, what some of your favorite songs are. We'll see what's going on in the chat. Yep, Stanley saying rolling with the punches. Yep, trying to do that. Stan, are you familiar with Linkin Park? They've been around for a while, but I know they're kind of new metal, and not new as in, you know, maybe at the time it was new, but it's almost become its own genre, new metal, which is sort of usually compared to bands like POD, Limp Bizkit's one that's brought up a lot. Trapped might be considered new metal. What else? I mean, even some of the bands I really like, you know, bands like Chevelle and Breaking Benjamin, sometimes they're considered new metal. I think they're more like alternative metal. Korn is sometimes classified as new metal, but I know they have some pretty unique elements to their music. But Linkin Park was definitely kind of a big change in the music scene when they first emerged, and they'd been around, had a pretty good career. And yeah. So cool. So I think we're going to dig into that some. But while we're waiting for more people to show up, I'm going to go ahead and perform a song for you guys. So if you're rolling in, don't be shy. Say hello, and we're going to dive into the reaction segment in a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and play a song for you. If you have a favorite Linkin Park track, let me know. And again, this is the 20th anniversary of the Meteora album. So if you're familiar with that album, let me know what your favorite track from that album is. Yep, leave a comment. I'll go ahead and play a song for you. Hope you like it. This one's called For You. you've been trapped. I'm out here pleading, but you can't hear me. Your silent screams are deafening. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. Thought I was different. You made me like them. Begged you to hold on, but you still let go. And from the distance, I can see what's missing. You never listen, so you'll never know. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. You're my closest friend, in the deepest wound, my most painful scar, and I cherish you. Well, ignore my warning. Just know that I'm sorry for you. And all this time, just know that I've tried for you. Come back to me. Thank you. All right. Hannah, thought that might have been you. I was almost going to call out and say, Hannah, good to have you, because I could recognize that the color of your thumbnail, that sort of turquoise. But I was scared. I didn't want to like call out Hannah and then get up close and be like, oh, wait, that's not Hannah. So, but good to have you. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Let me catch up with the chat here. Yep, Hannah saying, sup, y'all. So Stanley might need a refresher on Linkin Park, so I think when I hear them again. So, yeah, we'll see if you... Again, we're going to be checking out some new songs, so these might be songs you haven't heard, but maybe you'll recognize the sound. Stan saying hello. Hannah says her brother is a huge fan of Linkin Park. Let's see. Glad you checked out the stream. What are some of your favorite bands? So, sorry, I forgot. Add Hannah. Yep. So, yep, Hannah is a big Hailstorm fan. The Used, 3 Days Grace. Yep, well, I'll get to that in a moment. Hinder, and on occasion, Nickelback. Recently discovered Flyleaf and My Darkest Days and started to become fans. So, Yeah, I was going to say 3 Days Grace I actually really like. Now, they do have a new vocalist now, so I don't know if you were referring to, like, old 3 Days Grace or current 3 Days Grace. And current 3 Days Grace, I have to check them out, but it is kind of hard to, they almost seem like a different band, because not only is it a different vocalist, but their sound has kind of evolved over the years a little bit. So I don't know if I'd say I'm like, I don't know if I could call myself a fan of current 3 Days Grace, but yeah, okay, Adam, 3 Days Grace for sure. So yeah, but me too. Yeah, I definitely enjoy a lot of their discography, and yeah, I know Nickelback gets a lot of hate and stuff, but they definitely have some good tracks and stuff. I don't know if I'd say I'm a Nickelback fan, but there are definitely some songs I like, and there's a when I okay, so back when I was a kid, one of the first DVDs we got, when we got our first DVD player, we got the Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, the first one. And it was the double disc, so it had like special features on the second disc and had all this, just extra content. And there were a couple music videos. There was a music video by Sum 41, and there was a music video by Chad Kroeger, I guess that's how you pronounce his last name, but the lead vocalist of Nickelback. It wasn't actually a Nickelback song, but it was him, the vocalist, and he did a song called Hero, I think. I don't know if it was something Hero or I think it was just Hero, but I used to watch the heck out of those music videos, watch him over and over again, and yeah, I think he's got a great voice. And then I love Flyleaf. Flyleaf's up there with probably my top 10. Maybe if we're talking like metal and hard rock, I don't know. Hard rock, I think they could make top 5. I don't know if they make top 10, but Flyleaf is a big influence on me and my music, and yeah, really good band. So I'm glad you recently discovered them, and I recommended checking out their second album. Their first album's a classic. The first album is great, like perfect. And so after releasing such a good first album, it was a few years before they released their second one, and it was kind of like, man, that's going to be tough to top. How do you compete with that? That was such a good debut release. And I personally think they did it. I think their second album, is just as good. It's hard to call it a classic just because, the first one, has that foundation, that legendary foundation to it. But I think the second one's really good. And I think I could say I like it just as much, just as equal. Plus, it had more songs. It's got like 20 songs on it. So, and then the third album is maybe their weakest, as far as with Lacey. But I say that, very lightly. Like, even though I say weakest, it's still a good album. Like, if the first 2 albums are 10s, the third one's like a 9. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's still a really good album. I don't mean like weak as in it's a bad album, but yep. Yep, Stan, love music. If I like it, I like it. I'm kind of all over the place. Yeah. Yep, Stan, appreciate people like you, Stan. It's awesome. There's a lot of different styles of music to enjoy and appreciate. So I think we're going to dive into our reaction segment in a moment here. So yeah, Linkin Park recently released a 20th anniversary version of their album, the Meteora album that they put out back in 2003. And along with it, they released some bonus tracks and things like that, some tracks that were unreleased. They were recorded at the time, but they were unreleased. So it's pretty cool. I have listened to, they released a song like a month or so ago called Lost, and I've listened to that several times, so it's not really a first-time reaction when we get to that song. But I think it's I think it's a great song, really powerful, great melody, really catchy, and it again, just kind of a special gift. It's just really nice to hear Chester's voice again. It's so heartbreaking to lose someone like that, which, for anyone who doesn't know, Chester did take his own life, and that's such a, I don't know. It's just hard to imagine like what kind of headspace you have to be in to go through with something like that. And so I hate it for anyone and any family affected by that kind of thing. But after losing such a powerful vocalist, and then years later, kind of getting this song, it just, I don't know. It's pretty it's just a special gift, you know. It's just a really nice thing to have. So I'm glad that they kind of released that for everyone who connected with their music. And so we're gonna check out that song. And then there's one song. Technically, I have listened to this, but I've only listened to it once. And then I thought, okay, maybe I'll kind of save it for the reaction. There's another song called "Fighting Myself," and I think I'd heard. I'm pretty sure I like this song too, but I've only listened to it once, so it'll be a little bit of a reaction. And then we might check out some other tracks that were from the original release of the album. Hannah says, any suggestive songs to look out for from Flyleaf Southern? Oh, any suggested maybe is what, yeah. It's like suggestive. I don't know about that. Yeah. Any suggested songs to look out for from Flyleaf's other albums, trying to veer away from suggestive topics being Remedian. I'd have to see. I don't know. The best I could suggest is if you're looking for certain topics and stuff, you can always dive into the lyrics and kind of see what she's singing about. I think she's a great lyricist, and definitely enjoy a lot of. I don't know. She has a way of phrasing things that I think are really powerful and connect and stuff. So definitely a lot to come from. Stanley says, I like Nickelback. Biggest thing I remember them getting hated for on is sounding the same. And that could be, yeah, some people maybe do judge that. And then Stanley's, or Hannah saying to Stanley, I know, right? All those bands like them get such hate for either sounding the same or sounding too close to older stuff people try to forget about. That's literally why I love those bands. And yeah, sounds like it could be kind of frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. I think if someone has a sound and that's what they're known for, I don't know. It's tricky. I can't really comment on that as a songwriter myself because I'm still pretty early in releasing my music and stuff. But I know as a consumer of music, some bands seem to have a nice like natural progression. Like sometimes their sound will change, but it sounds right. It's like it's kind of naturally changing. And then some they stay consistent, but I don't think either one's such a bad thing. I think the only time it bothers me is when they intentionally change their sound, but they just go in like a direction that doesn't make sense. It's kind of like, it's like something that's different from, hey, that's not what I connected with originally with the music, and then now they're putting out a different style that's, just not what I connected with originally. So I don't know. I've seen it work both ways. There's some bands where it's like I'm kind of glad I know what sound to expect from them, and that's what I like. And then there's some bands where they've changed their sound, but they do a good job at everything they adjust. So I think as long as it's genuine, it's probably going to come out all right. But and yeah, I agree, Stan. I think he's got a very distinctive voice. All right, we are going to check out this track from Linkin Park. Now, when I play this, y'all might have to let me know. Make sure that let me know that you can hear it, and let me know that it's a good volume. If it needs to be louder, just let me know. If it needs to be quieter, let me know, and I'll turn it down. So this is a song. Apparently, they had recorded this years ago. This was recorded back, in the early 2000s. I'm not sure when they recorded it, but before 2003, when the album was released. And yeah, this was an unreleased song called Fighting Myself. This one I've only heard once, so I can't even remember what it sounds like because I kind of, I decided to save it for the stream and stuff. So we'll see. But I do quite like Linkin Park, and yeah, and I think it's great that, this is pretty special that we're getting some new releases from them. So here we go. Yep, just let me know if y'all can hear it. I'm going to go ahead and play it. This is Fighting Myself by Linkin Park. So again, like if I'm being honestly objective, I'm not going to say that's like Linkin Park's best song or anything like that. But I think that's a solid track. Like I think you could give that like an 8 out of 10 pretty safely. And that's just me, like, as someone who enjoys Linkin Park's music, that's a passing grade for me. Like, yep, I like it. I would listen to that song again. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's the best Linkin Park song, but especially under the circumstances, it's just like, man, that's just more music from Schecter that we didn't think we'd be getting, and it's really solid. You know, just I don't know. There's nothing to really like criticize. It's just again, they're very good at being dynamics. Like their songs always feel so reserved during the verses, and then when that chorus comes in, just bam. Especially if you're listening in headphones, like it just goes wide. Like the track gets really big, and it sounds good. It sounds nice, and then again, Chester's got a powerful vocal performance, and Mike's rapping's good. Again, like when it comes to rap, I enjoy, you know, like rap as in like the vocal part of rap and stuff. Now, as far as the style of music, a lot of times it can be just kind of loops. It can be a little repetitive or redundant. But there's a lot of, you know, rock bands that incorporate rap, bands like Linkin Park or POD, and I enjoy that stuff just fine because I like the music part of it, you know. So it's not like, oh, he's rapping, you know, that doesn't take away anything, you know. It's fine. So Stan says, I like the changes. Everything was on time. Nice. And yep, you know, just kind of a solid arrangement. We've talked a little bit about song arrangements before. You know, we've looked at other bands where sometimes they feel like kind of like they just threw together a bunch of parts, like they didn't really try to make it flow. And I think Linkin Park is an example of a band that just has good song arrangement. It's just like everything flows nicely into each other. Everything's dynamic. It sets up for the next part nicely and builds up. So again, it's, you know, just a solid track. So heck counting now. What am I saying? Heck a lot? or did you mean heck, comma, counting now, as in you're pointing out that, you know, we're counting now? Or maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing the context of that. But all right, good track. So now here's the other track. This one's called Lost, and this is like kind of a surprisingly like really good Linkin Park song. It's not just like, oh, here's an extra song that we didn't release. This is like really powerful. Yeah, like I really like this track. I've had this track stuck in my head after listening to it for a few days and stuff, but and it's a really good music video too. So the one we just watched was just an audio video, so they just had kind of some, you know, some background animation stuff. But this next one is an actual music video, and I think they used like AI technology. Oh, heck, country now. I gotcha. I was like, counting? What are we counting? Yeah, country music. Yep. Gotcha. So, yep. But yeah, Lost. Yeah, pretty cool music video too. So we're gonna check that out. Here we go. So video loading. Just a moment.
What if you were a global bank?
Got an ad. But yeah, this one is a good track. This is like a 9 or a 10 or something like that for me. You know, if you're not a Linkin Park fan, then you know you might not think that. But if you like their music, you're probably gonna like this track. But this has got a pretty emotional chord progression. It just, you know, hits hard. When those guitars come in, it's just really powerful. And then listen, it'll kind of get reserved again, and then Chester's vocals are just great.
Just a scar somewhere down inside of me.
This is actually
Something I cannot repair.
a pretty hard song to listen to when you kind of hear his words.
I pretend it isn't there. I'm trapped in yesterday, where the pain is all I know.
Hannah said she was surprised at how good it was when her brother played it.
'Cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories.
Just a really powerful chorus.
Behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion.
crazy just like how a power, like such a powerful song, like it wasn't released. You know? Like it's just crazy that this was held on to. Stan says, playing on the praise team, I learned to really love the timing on starts and stops and build-ups. And yeah, song arrangement, like listen here, it strips down again, just really small. You can tell something's coming and it's gonna hit hard. Yeah, it's a pretty great track. Like if I had any like critique, maybe that ending is just a little sudden, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's fine, you know. But I don't know. I think it's just a really powerful chorus. It's a simple but very effective song arrangement. Really powerful lyrics, and that kind of hold a little more weight to them after you, you know, after you kind of know what Chester had been going through and stuff. But one interesting thing about song dynamics, about like stopping and starting and build-ups and things like that, there's a YouTuber, Nick Nocturnal. Anyone who kind of follows a lot of metal content probably knows him. He makes a lot of great content. And he'll do these sort of fun projects where he'll record stuff and make like a heavy version of it. And so he actually did like a metal version of the song. And I think he knew, like, I think he already, I think it was kind of just for fun. I think he already knew this was a good song as it was. And, but he was basically trying to, you know, kind of make a more metal version. Like, you know, just, I don't want to say absurdly heavy, but, you know, just, yeah, make everything heavy. But it was kind of an interesting thing. Like, the little bits I heard him come up with, I was kind of like, man, that sounds pretty good. But when you hear it all in context, the problem is if everything is heavy, then nothing is heavy, you know? Like context is what helps. And so that's kind of what's cool about this song, is what makes the chorus hit so hard is that in contrast, the verses are a lot smaller. They're a lot simpler. You know, there's no distorted guitars. And so it sounds a bit more reserved, and then when that chorus comes in, bam, those guitars come in, everything sounds wide and big and hits hard. That's when something's heavy. But, you know, that's kind of something I've sort of realized listening to heavier bands. Sometimes you'll hear the first, like, 30 seconds and be like, man, this is really heavy. But if the song just stays that way, then it gets a little redundant, you know, and it doesn't stay heavy. What makes something hit hard is the contrast, you know, going from silence to then hitting hard. That's really big, and then stripping down to something simpler and coming back, that really helps. Periphery recently released an album, and I think one thing they did really good with the album is in between songs they would have these sort of palette cleansers, and what I mean by that is they would have these sort of orchestral pieces or these little instrumental bits that were much softer than the full band, and it kind of gives your ears a break and sort of gives you something different that helps transition, so that when the next song comes, bam, that one hits really hard. So yeah, contrast dynamics are very important in order to make something impactful. Let's see, Stan was saying it could be his on his illusion made him think the song feel not good enough. Could be his own illusion made him think the song feel not good enough. I don't know if you were trying to type that quickly and kind of miss something, but yeah, I think, yeah, I that's probably a good way to summarize it, of just feeling not good enough, which this was fairly early in their career. Now, this was after Hybrid Theory, which was their debut album, and that album blew up, did like really successful. But still, yeah, it sounds like he was struggling with some things, and yeah, just kind of felt like he wasn't good enough and stuff. A lot of people are kind of, which that's sort of an interesting topic of lyrical content. I'd heard people saying that, this song might save lives, that people can hear this and be able to relate to something, be able to connect to something, someone who felt this way, and this song sort of helping them overcome that. And people have said that a lot of Linkin Park's music has helped them do that. But what do you guys think? What do you think of lyrical content when someone's expressing hurt like this? When you hear a song like this, does this make you sad? Does this hurt you? Or does it do the opposite? Do you feel like, oh, this is something I can connect with? This is something that motivates me and empowers me to press on? I know for myself, first and foremost, if I'm, being honest, I've always kind of listened to music mostly for the sound, just the melodies and the sound. I like vocals, but for a long time I didn't really concern myself with what the singer was actually singing about. And it's kind of funny. I've sort of shared this before, but it wasn't till I was in high school, and I'm not going to go into my love story, but my first heartbreak. That's when I kind of felt something. When I felt some hurt, and then I heard a song that described the way I felt, I was like, wow, like there was something relieving about that. There was something that was nice to just kind of hear a piece of music that in words that described the way I felt. And then I remember my first attempt at writing a song and trying to write words that described that hurt that I was going through, and it was relieving. It was. It was just something about it kind of did help sort of overcome that feeling. And so after that experience, that's when I started to recognize, okay, lyrics do matter. There is, significance to the words. And I've since then tried to have meaning. Now, over the years, you go through different experiences, and so you kind of write about different things over the years. And so what I write about now is kind of different than what I wrote about back in high school. Hannah was saying, it's nice to hear a songwriter work on a song like this and write it in a way that no matter what the main theme of the song is, anyone who's hurting can relate deeply. Like when someone writes a song about a toxic ex, but someone losing a toxic friend could relate on a deeper level. Yeah, I see what you mean, where they're describing the feelings, but it's not so specific that it doesn't relate to your personal scenario. It's kind of like, because we all might experience hurt or loss or, feeling like, feeling like we're not good enough. And it could be for several reasons. And someone could be writing about a certain experience in their life, but they're just describing the feelings of it. And so even though you might be having a different personal experience, you can connect to those same feelings. And that's kind of the powerful thing about lyrics. Now, I will say, for myself, I definitely try to make an effort to write from a positive perspective. So I do think there's something powerful in acknowledging that kind of hurt. I don't think the response is to like ignore and like kind of shut it out. Like, well, I'm just going to sing about something happy because I want to be happy. To me, that you're almost lying to yourself, I think if there's that hurt, it's something to be addressed. But at the same time, I do think there is kind of a wise way to address that rather than approaching it negatively where that might kind of leave you in that state of being and kind of hurt you. I think it does help to be hopeful and to write about something positive. And that's definitely something I try to do in a lot of my lyrics where I'll acknowledge something that's hurting, but I try to express that there's hope, that there is, some good to come out of it, and to overcome it. That's not going to be the case, and that's definitely the effect I want my music to have as far as lyrics go. When people hear them, I want them to be able to connect with, a feeling that they maybe similar feelings that they've experienced, but also feel motivated and empowered to overcome whatever is hurting them and not feel stuck in that place. Stanley saying, I like words and music. If the music grabs me, I listen to the song. Yep. And that's, I would say I still, I definitely, as I've gotten older, I appreciate lyrics more. I'm still a music first, fan. Someone might write really good lyrics, but if I'm not crazy about the music, I could say, oh, the lyrics are good, but I'm probably not going to listen to it too much. And then vice versa. If I really like the music and the lyrics are just kind of whatever, I'll probably still, if I enjoy the melody, I'll probably still listen to it. But from time to time, you do get that combination of both, just a really good piece of music, and then the lyrics are really powerful behind it. Hannah says, I wrote a breakup song and shared it with my ex-bandmate, and he interpreted it from a drug addict's perspective. Guess the lyrics hit him on a completely different spectrum. Yeah, so they must have. I guess there's that similar scenario of, having to, being that drawn to something or connected to something. And so might be kind of a bit extreme, but I guess that's the case. And hopefully it was helpful to him, hopefully encouraged him to overcome the addiction. But with that said, we might check out a few more Linkin Park songs in a moment here. I'm going to go ahead and play another song for you guys. But let me know, are there any songs with lyrics that have stuck out to you? Are there any songs you've heard and the lyrics just really impacted you or empowered you? You could say, this is a song, these lyrics encourage me or they motivate me, or this is a song, these lyrics help me through a hard time. If there's any songs like that where the lyrics have impacted you, let me know, leave a comment. I'll definitely share a few of mine. But in the meantime, here is a song I wrote, certainly in an attempt to express what it's like to kind of overcome some challenge. A lot of times in life, we're always going to be facing challenges, but when you realize how each challenge you face shapes you and it teaches you and you grow from it and you get stronger, you can look back at the challenges you faced before and realize wow, I've come such a long way and this has shaped me into who I am. This has made me stronger and help me to face these future scenarios. So, if you get knocked down, just get back up. This isn't the first time you face something like this. You can overcome it again. So that's kind of what this song is about. So I hope you like it. This one's called Move On. And Hannah, I don't know if you've heard this song, but this one definitely has a little bit of some Flyleaf influence in it, so maybe you'll dig it. I don't know. We'll see. This one's called Move On.
Blind to your progress. See how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on, so move on. See how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on, so move on. Taste and see this bitter memory. You once
strong. You can move on, so move on. When you find yourself at the end of your road, you know it's not over. When you find yourself at the end of your road, you know it's not over. You've been down this road more than once before, and it won't stop you this time. No. Say how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on, so move on. See how far you've come. Stay strong. You can move on. Thank you. Yep. Again, that one's called Move On, and that one is available on streaming, Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you like to listen to music. And even you can actually download that song for free if you go to my Bandcamp. It's available for download. That way you own the song, and you can put it on your listening device or whatever it might be. Let's see here. Catching up with the chat. Stanley says, in hindsight, knowing what happened to him, that was a cry for help from the vocals I heard, for which the once over. Yeah, a lot of people were kind of saying that. A lot of people were saying, you know, after what happened and then hearing those lyrics, they just kind of felt like, you know, it was a cry for help. Now, this was, you know, several years before anything happened, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's a shame that he only kind of put it out in lyrics, and I don't know if anyone, I don't know if bandmates or, you know, people associated with the music, if anyone tried to reach out to him and kind of said, you know, I don't know, just based off the content of the lyrics, if they tried to reach out to him. I don't know. Let's see. Conway, that's my job. Hannah says, I'm with you. I'm with you by Avril Lavigne. Helped me through a tough time. Very hard-hitting lyrics. I'm trying to think if I've heard I'm With You. I definitely actually quite like Avril Lavigne. It's sort of funny. So when it comes to Avril Lavigne, my first exposure to her was back in elementary school. The girls on my school bus were singing Skater Boy. And, of course, when you hear someone singing a song that you've never heard before, and you just hear, like, the a cappella, just the vocals, it doesn't do the song justice. So I'm hearing these girls singing, he was a boy, she was a girl, and I was just kind of like, you know, I wasn't enjoying it. I was just kind of wishing they would stop singing, you know. But then I heard the song on the radio, and I was like, oh, that's what it sounds like. And I was like, that sounds really cool, you know, like I was totally surprised at how cool it sounded. And so, yeah, I've got it right here. So yeah, that made me aware of Avril Lavigne. And then several years later, I, you know, got around to buying some of her music. I got that first album. And I'm with you. That's right. I'm with you. So I do know that song. I thought the title sounded familiar. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that song. I've got a few of her songs from that first album, and I'm wanting to get more. I've checked out some more of her music, and there's definitely quite a few songs of hers that I like. Stan says that growl at the beginning. Yep, thank you. Heck, there's a couple things. I love the echo. Yep, thanks. There's, the echo kind of sort of helps with that transition during the bridge and stuff. Yep, those were kind of some sort of some fun production things when I was originally writing that song and coming up with the arrangement and I don't know, as you're sort of working on it, little by little, you sort of piece together these little ideas to sort of help with those transitions. Hannah says, love her first 2 records, the heaviest of her music, and the hardest hitting lyrics and melodies. I know, I haven't, so it's kind of funny. I make a lot of playlists on YouTube, different lists for different videos I want to keep up with, and I have music playlists. I have a playlist called Music to Check Out. So whenever whenever someone's like, hey, you should check out this band, I'll grab a few of their songs and add them to that playlist with the intent to listen to it later. And then after I listen to it, I sort of decide like, okay, did I like it or not? Because if I liked it, then I might add it to another playlist I have called Buy. It says buy and it's got a question mark. And basically they're songs that I consider maybe buying. And so I know there's a lot of, I've got a lot of Avril Lavigne songs on there, on that buy playlist. And I know there's some from the second album. I don't know if it's also the third album. I don't know. It's a couple albums, a couple later albums of hers rather than the first one. But I do think they were some of the earlier ones. And there's quite a few songs in there. So I still got to kind of listen through and decide whether or not I want to purchase those. Yes, you can listen to songs whenever you want on YouTube or Spotify, but you do need some kind of connection to that. And I do like to. I still like to purchase some like MP3s to download onto my phone, and that way I've got the music with me just wherever I go. I don't have to worry about internet or service or anything. I can just listen to those songs whenever I want. So if I hear a song I like, I definitely still want to make that purchase at some point. So, but been a little busy, been hard to get around to that. so we'll see. All right, we'll check out a few more Linkin Park songs, and then I'll probably perform a few more songs for you guys. So those were, as far as I'm aware, those are the only 2 like unreleased songs that they put out. At some point, I might have to look and see if there was any other unreleased songs that have since been released. But we're going to check out a few songs from the album that were released originally. So let me just bring this back up, get this set up where you guys will be able to see it and hear it. All right. All right, so we're going to check out a couple songs. Here's a couple of my favorite songs from the album. This one's called Faint. And, here we go. This is the music video for it.
Right now is the best time to roll into Verizon and switch.
After this ad. I thought Meteora was a really good album. If I had to pick, I do think Hybrid Theory is my favorite Linkin Park album. And I know a lot of people love that album. And sometimes a lot of people are like, I think even Linkin Park themselves, the members were almost a little frustrated that nothing else they released seemed to be as well received as Hybrid Theory. But hopefully that's not the case. Again, I think Meteora is a great album. Can't remember the name, but I think they put out an album in 2008, 2009 or something that I think has a lot of great songs on it. I can see it in my head, I just can't remember the name of it.
A little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars.
This is a cool song. I love that kind of that urgency to it. That kind of this is a good one to have on your workout playlist, just to kind of pump you up. All right, let's get warmed up. Let's get ready to have a good workout. And here we go. Oh my gosh, Stan. Wow, I did not know that. Man, I'm so sorry.
A little bit insecure, a little unconfident, 'cause you don't understand to do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense.
Well, man, don't know if we're gonna keep listening to the the song. Sheesh, Stan, I didn't know that. Man, I'm really sorry, dude. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever heard. I don't know if you'd ever shared the story with me, and but uh, uh, but man, I'm sorry. I know. I've been fortunate that and I haven't had to experience that too much. But a few years ago, probably the closest person to me that experienced something like that experienced you know uh, taking their own life was unfortunately someone that was part of the youth group years ago. Uh, and yeah, that was hurtful. It was just it's gosh, it's just rough to know what someone's going through. Hannah, I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, glad to have you a part of it, and I hope you have a good rest of the week. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, and yeah, take care. I hope you have a good rest of the week. But it's I don't know. It's just sometimes it can seem so unexpected. At least for me, it was either it's either someone you don't know well enough that you can't see the signs, so it's so unexpected. I would hope that if there was someone like really close to me that was dealing with something like that, I would hope that I could see the signs pretty early on. Stan was saying, that's why I stand with you on the matter. No matter what, you have a purpose. Yeah. Thanks, guys. You as well. Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, you have a good one. And thanks, Stan. Yeah, I think that's just really important. I think a lot of people sometimes don't realize just how impactful they are, that their lives have a purpose, that they do have meaning, and that the choices we make are so influential in who they affect, and yeah, that's what really hurts. With Chester, I think he was such a talented vocalist and a powerful songwriter, and his music connected with people and had the effect to empower people, to encourage people, just able to get through to them. And unfortunately, just he couldn't realize the impact it was having on people, and something was still missing in his life, and so that's where that hurt came in, and I remember at the time they had released, it might have been, I guess it was their last album that they released, because I think it happened back in 2017, maybe 2018, and when they released their album, I think it wasn't quite well received, and on top of that, on top of that, there was another loss with Chris Cornell, another super talented vocalist, and that's one, like, again, I was kind of new to Chris Cornell's music. I didn't even realize that he had a few songs that I loved. There were a few songs that I'd heard by him that I really liked, but I hadn't followed his career closely or anything, and so had no clue that he was someone struggling with that kind of stuff and would take his own life, and I think that impacted Chester, and then unfortunately, like just a few months later, he ended up taking his, and but man, Stan, man, I'm so sorry about that. I'm not gonna pry into that, over this stream, but maybe sometime when when I see you, if we get a chance to talk and stuff, but we can go over that a little bit more. I don't want to ask any personal questions for you over the stream, but definitely sorry for that. It's something that I think life just has so much meaning and purpose and fulfillment, and especially especially like with what God created us for. God created us for a purpose, and you are especially made. You are unique, and there's just invaluable, and it's just so sad when people can't see that. And I think it's something that I know for me, like I just see life as a big adventure. I see so much potential. It's almost overwhelming. Like, man, there's so much you can do. It's like, how do you choose which way you want to go with your life? And and so sometimes it's hard for me to connect with people who don't have that same vision, where they feel like their life is just at a dead end in a rut. I see so much potential, and sometimes people don't see that in themselves. They see just a waste of space, or just, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how they see it. And so I think it's um, something hard to for me to kind of connect with, but it's something that I definitely have a sensitivity for. It just I want people to get the most out of life. I want people to recognize their value and their purpose. And Stan says, "I know. I'm sorry. I just thought in, and no worries. I definitely appreciate you sharing. And but we'll check out a few more songs from Chester here. Probably the big one, and this is kind of another hurtful one, as far as lyrics go. But one of Linkin Park's biggest songs was the song "Numb," and this is basically a song about somebody who just feels numb, like where when they're in life, just all the people passing them by and all the interactions, it's just nothing seems to be getting through to them. And but yeah, Stan says, I agree, because they might hang on every word you say and think I'm not good enough. It's interesting that you say that, because I know when I was younger, and now that I think about it, I don't know if everyone deals with this, but I am starting to wonder if maybe more people deal with this than we realize. But when I had my first heartbreak, and it's funny because it always sounds like, oh, it was just a love story, but again, I try to put into context that this was not just like some girl I was dating. I was looking for the one. I was looking for someone to spend the rest of my life with, and I would talk to girls, and they just, they were nice, but I couldn't see myself being with them for the rest of my life. So I thought, okay, they must not be the right one for me. And one day I found a girl that I thought was the one. Like, I had full intentions of, spending the rest of my life with this girl. And, we had a good summer together. School started again, and that's when things kind of started feeling a little awkward. She didn't know my friends. I didn't know her friends. And so when she told me that she just wanted to be friends, I had two questions in my mind. I didn't ask these to her. But in my mind, I just thought, what's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? And the reason I say that is because at that age, I must have been about 16 at the time. Those were the two questions I had in my head for a few years after that. What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? And, for myself, that might have felt like my own kind of personal story, but I bet there's a lot of people who have asked those questions. There's a lot of people who have faced something. It might not have been, a romantic heartbreak, but it might have been a disappointment. It might have been something a parental figure or a friend said to them. It might have been something that they failed at, that they tried at, or there could be several scenarios, and someone might ask that question, what's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? And I think that's when we begin kind of searching. I think we're all, trying to search for purpose and fulfillment. And I think, unfortunately, we find it in a lot of wrong places. We find it in a lot of places that are hurtful. And that's kind of the tough thing. For me, it was years later when I found out that, the answer for me, I can say for that particular situation, the answer for me was, one, there was nothing wrong with me. We were too young. It's not that I wasn't good enough. It's just that we were both too young for a relationship that serious at the time. Now, that might not be the answer for every scenario, but the answer probably is that there's nothing wrong with you, and that it's not that you're not good enough. It's possible you're still learning. It's possible you're still growing. but you should never feel, ashamed wherever you are, and you are good enough, because the experiences we have in life, just because we might be less experienced than someone older than us, someone who's been around longer, the experiences that we do have and that we do face, that's going to help us connect with those beyond us, help us connect with others. And that's kind of the interesting thing about hurt and about challenge, the things we face in life, the hurt we go through is, it hurts, but one, everyone experiences some kind of hurt in their life, and two, it's something that connects us. It's something that can help us to carry each other and to encourage each other, to love each other, because it's something we all deal with. And it's definitely a lot easier to overcome that hurt when you have people who are sensitive and who are loving and encouraging and kind of helping you through it, rather than, people who are, kind of like Stan said, people who are saying words that they might be hanging on and taking negative connotations from them. I can say one thing that's kind of interesting. So having to, I've been fortunate. The family I grew up in is, it's not till I've gotten older that I've realized that what I have with my family is not the norm. I'm very blessed with, like my siblings are some of my best friends, and that's not always the case. There's some people who really don't get along with their siblings. There's some people who don't get along with their parents, and that's shocking to me, because I love my parents. I respect them so much, and there's some people who just couldn't wait to get away from their parents, and I didn't realize that till I got older. But just kind of how I grew up is not the same that a lot of other people have experienced. And so, one, that makes me grateful. I'm super thankful for my family. I give thanks for them all the time, and definitely do not take them for granted. I don't ever want to take what I have with them for granted. But at the same time, it is important to kind of recognize, to help people realize that they can be loved in that same way, and that we can show that same love to others, because it makes a difference. Just how we interact with people, how we accept them and encourage them, can help someone kind of recognize that value. Stan says, "Dude, you are showing me a lot." Hopefully, in a good way. Hopefully so. Hopefully, just some encouraging things that kind of help out, and yeah, because we're all learning. It's kind of funny. I think especially when we're younger, we tend to look at our parents and elders, older people, like, oh, they're older, they're all grown up, they have it all figured out. But I can say, as someone who is growing up, yes, I've learned a lot. Yes, I've experienced a lot, but I still have a lot to experience. I still have a lot to grow. I still have a lot to learn. And so, we are learning till the day we die. We're learning as long as our life lasts. There's always something to learn, always something to grow. And so, that's kind of the main thing to keep in mind. But yeah, whoever you are, wherever you are in life, you are good enough. Your life has purpose and intent, and is special. So I think I'm gonna, let's see here. Stan says, "Yes, sir. I'm 46 man, and you were doing great." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know I hopefully I still have a whole lot of life left to go. I tell you what, I'm trying to think. So I think I'm going to go into a song here, and I tell you what, I'm going to do two more songs. I'm going to do a soft one right now, and then we'll do a heavier one. But this is kind of a song. I think both these songs fairly relate to sort of what we're discussing here. So, again, kind of a response to this song. So this is a song, called "Numb," a song about just sort of not being able to live up to expectations, and here's the thing: it's like you can, I mean, you shouldn't stress about the expectations that someone else puts on you. You should just the way you progress in anything, The way you progress in anything is just do a little more than last time. Do a little better than last time. And I've had to learn that myself, you know. Even with what I'm trying to do musically, sometimes it's overwhelming to see the end result, to see like, man, you know, the kind of videos people are making, the quality of the song releases and the video releases, and, you know, all these different steps, and it just seems overwhelming. And I have to remind myself, just do a little more than last time. Just try to release another song and just do a little better on this song than the last one. Try to release a little more. Try to, you know, whatever it might be. And over time, if I'm doing a little more, then my 10th release is going to be paired up with a lot more than my first release was. And that's more than just, you know, that's me for my music, but it's the same thing for fitness goals, for career goals, which is what, you know, my music, my career goals. Same thing for, you know, whether it's health, whether it's a certain skill, or, you know, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, emotional things, you know, rather than burdening yourself by looking at the end result and thinking like, man, I have such a long way to go. I have so much to accomplish. You just got to do a little more than last time. And that's enough. As long as you're doing your best, that's good enough, you know? And as long as you're striving to do, or let me clarify that a little bit, not just your best, but as long as you're striving to do a little better than last time, then that's enough. And in time, that will add up, and that's when progress is made. And a big part of progress is, sometimes it is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know, sometimes there are those times where you're going to fall back, or progress is going to kind of plateau for a little bit. And that's where just time comes in. And yeah, baby steps, you know, just kind of, you know, letting those little steps kind of add up over time. And then kind of like the song I sang earlier, move back, you look back and you see how far you've come, and you realize like, wow, I've come a long way. So, you know, so if you are living a life where, you know, it feels like a routine, and you just kind of feel like, you know, you're sort of on autopilot. That's kind of what this song is about. This is a song about waking up and being who you're meant to be, you know, being, you know, the best version of yourself, and going after the things that you dream about, you know, making that dream happen, and not just kind of going through a mundane routine that without much thought, you know. I think life is so valuable that, you know, each day we all have different passions, and we all have a different purpose. We all have different attributes, you know, whatever it might be. You know, we're all kind of called for different things. But the point is, like, just recognizing that, you know, there's so much value in each day, and just, you know, living that day and fulfilling it in a way that where you are appreciating the things that you connect with, and you're appreciating the things that you're blessed with, the opportunities that you do have in your life. And there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be some rough things, but you got to remember the good stuff, and you got to be thankful for that stuff, and just keep stepping forward. So yeah, this song's called Waking Up. I hope you like it.
It's too much effort to pull away the covers that hold me down and won't let go. It smothers me, the weight of this anxiety pressing me into my pillow. Blissful sleep, chasing lies and counting sheep. It sure is easy, but not for me. So here I am, with all I have. I'm waking up, facing what's in front of me. I won't back down, I can't stop now. I'm waking up, I can start to dream. I toss and turn, and tick by talk the hours burn, pleading for this night to end. A part of me begging to go back to sleep. It sure is easy, but not for me. So here I am, with all I have. I'm waking up, I'm facing what's in front of me. I won't back down, I can't stop now. I'm waking up, so I can start to dream you're not worthless. You have purpose. Wake up and see it. Time to dream it.
So here I am, with all I have. I'm waking up, like facing what's in front of me. I won't back down, I can't stop now. I'm waking up, so I can start to dream.
So here I am, with all I have. I'm waking up, I'm facing what's in front of me. I won't back down, I can't stop now. I'm waking up, so I can start to dream.
Thank you. Again, that one's called Waking Up, and that song has been released. That song's available on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that. And again, if you want to download music, you can download it from my Bandcamp for free. So, yeah, definitely check out the song there. Thank you, Stan, saying great song and nice. Appreciate that. So, I do think we're going to be wrapping up the stream in a moment here. But I think I'm going to do one more song. So if you have any last thoughts or questions or things, be sure to leave them in the comment. But yeah, Linkin Park, I think they're a great band. And I guess the takeaway from this stream is, one, just try to be mindful of other people. You never know what someone is going through. You never know what the context of their life is, what's in their head. And so, we want to be sensitive to people and try to be, loving and encouraging. One little thing, I'm still working on putting this into practice, but I don't know if anyone else does this, but sometimes I'll have a thought about someone in my head, and actually a good thought. I'll think like, I think that person, I like that person's shirt, or I like their outfit, or, hey, that person's pretty good at that thing, or they did a good job with that. Sometimes I'll think that, and I'm a bit introverted, so sometimes I have trouble saying it. I'll think it, but I won't actually say it. And I'm trying to kind of get in a better habit of, if I have a nice thought about someone, just trying to say it. Not just think it and be like, well, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna put that in my back pocket. I try to put it into practice of telling that person that thing, because it can really make someone's day, and something small like that can, have a pretty big impact. It could be just enough to kind of like encourage someone, kind of cheer them up, sort of turn them around and stuff, because you never know what someone's kind of dealing with, what they're battling in their head. But you know, definitely if someone is hurting, definitely just trying to kind of be a light and just kind of, you know, show them some love. And then I think the other thing, yeah, you know, music, you know, lyrics are powerful, they're impactful, and I think it's important to acknowledge hurt and to, you know, I think those lyrics are kind of what connect us, you know, those kind of words sort of help us relate, saying, hey, I know what that's like, I know what that feels like, and there's something relieving, there's something nice about having words that describe the way you feel. I don't know why, I don't even know if relief is the right word, it's just, well, maybe relief is, you know, because I think sometimes we feel a certain way and we can't even describe it ourselves. And then you hear a song and it's like, man, those words and that music, that just encompasses how I feel. And there's just something so rewarding about that. But at the same time, I think it's so important to pair up that message with something positive and something hopeful. You know, we want to express lyrics that connect with people, that help them kind of relate, but also encourage them, and exactly like Stan's saying, knowing you're not alone, and words that kind of motivate them to not just relate in the feeling, but overcome that feeling and progress to something better, to get through whatever challenge or trial or circumstance you might be dealing with. So. Going to perform one more song here, and the song goes along with kind of what we've been talking about. You know, whatever challenge or circumstance you're facing, you can get through it, and that's a big part of life. You know, life is all about, you know, kind of the challenges we face that knock us down, and whenever they knock us down, hey, you get back up and you keep facing. So I think this is going to be the last song, and then we're going to call it a wrap on this stream. And so if you're out there, just know that you're good enough, know that you have purpose, that you're loved, and yeah, this song's for you. You know, whenever you get knocked down, just get back up and try again. So this one's called Get Up Again.
Down on the floor, you've been here many times before. You can't ignore the time in hand is running short. No end in sight, and nothing's going right. Why even try? There's nothing left inside. It always hurts to lose what you wanted, but it feels worse to never have tried it. It's not the first and won't be the last time, so get up again. Still holding on, still pushing through this marathon. Give all you've got. There's not much further left to crawl. No end in sight, sight. It always hurts to lose what you wanted, but it feels worse to never have tried it. It's not the first and won't be the last time, so get up again.
Thank you. Again, that one's called Get Up Again. And that song is also has also been released, so it's available on Spotify and such. So thank you, Stan. Appreciate that. Well, that's going to be a wrap for this stream. So thank you, Stan. Anyone else who tuned in and when watching on the replay, thank you so much. If you'd like to support me, there is a link in the description that leads to a virtual tip jar, and I do appreciate that. That helps me so that I can invest more in producing songs and bringing you bigger and better content. And so if you want to support me so I can keep bringing you stuff, there's a link in the description to a virtual tip jar. If you don't have the financial means to support me, my biggest goal right now is building an audience. So you can help me do that by sharing my songs, sharing my content, inviting people to the streams, things like that, liking the videos, subscribing, all that stuff. That helps me, and just the more people that I can get exposure to, the more people I can get my songs out to, my videos out to, that helps me in growing. And so please share my songs, things like that. That really helps. I appreciate that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next time.